Morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Apex Formula One podcast. It is a great Tuesday, I believe. It is Tuesday. Had to check and make sure. That was weird. I'm joined here by my great co-host, Paul and Meredith. Paul, how you doing on this fine Tuesday morning?
Tuesday. Let's make sure everybody knows it's Tuesday. This is the earliest we've ever recorded this podcast, so I'm kind of enjoying it.
I'm here for a morning pod. I'm a morning person, as y'all know. So I'm like, this is great. It worked out great. Since I'm on a work trip, I'm like, heck yeah, I can jump in.
Yeah, it totally worked out.
Yeah, that worked out very well. Well, we are here to discuss what is a boring race, but with massive championship complications. So we'll just get right into it. I know Meredith's short on time. We had this week's Formula One race was in Qatar, or Qatar, or however we decided to say it. You could just Qatar, as they said. Yeah. So that was fun. Just pronunciations are fun. But you know what's not fun? McLaren strategy. So we'll just go ahead and...
What are they doing, man?
What are they
doing?
Absolutely destroyed Oscar's chances.
Quick question. Did anybody watch the football game last night? Giants and Patriots?
Yes.
Did you see when the kicker went to kick the ball and just absolutely kicked the ground 8 inches before the ball, totally flubbed it?
Yes.
That's what McLaren did with their strategy this weekend. It was the most embarrassing thing. Like, that's worse than papaya rules.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you are down to the wire, potentially Lando winning the championship if he would have gotten third. And you're going to say, no, we're not going to pit on a safety car.
Josh, give us some context so everybody knows what we're talking about here.
All right, so on lap 5 or 6,
7.
there was an incident. I know, but what was the actual incident lap? Lap 7 was the pit lap with the safety car lap. So it might have been lap 6.
Probably 6.
Hulkenberg and Pierre Gasly got in a little scuffle. It was kind of just like a very minor touch of wheels, but ended up knocking Nico Hulkenberg out of the race and causing a safety car. Well, due to this week's rules as far as limits on how many laps the tires could do that Pirelli enforced due to the conditions of the track and the potential wear, they limited the tire life to 25 laps. Well, it's a 57-lap race. Quick math gives you lap 7 being your first opportunity for a safety car or virtual safety car pit window. Apparently, everybody else on the grid understood this very well, except for McLaren, who, what appears to be, could not decide which driver to pit first and completely missed the opportunity to pit either driver. The rest of the grid pits, and McLaren is now on a completely separate strategy. But the rest of the grid is going for they pit on lap 7, so now they're going 25 and 25. Perfectly timed out. Lap 32, everybody comes in and pits. McLaren's left out. They just didn't really have the pace to sneak out the 26 seconds needed to have a pit stop without any kind of complications from timing, and Max was just able to keep right on their tails enough to end up winning the race. So completely disastrous call from the wall of McLaren, and I agree, Meredith. It is worse than papaya rules. This here is worse than the driver swap. This is worse than any hey, let's not race our teammates too hard. This is a complete breakdown of their system, and it cost them the race and maybe cost them the championship.
And I think the worst part was that they immediately tried to justify it. When the drivers came on the radio and are like, what are we doing? They're like, oh, well, we're going to have a choice later on. We're going to have
flexibility.
We're going to have flexibility. With what? You just literally gave a 10-second advantage to every other driver on the grid, including the one that is hunting you down for the championship. I was like, this is so bad.
It's stupid, and I know it's not just, literally every other team on the grid pitted on that, and I just can't seem to understand. I'm as dumb as they come. I'm not a smart human being, but I could have figured out that at lap 7, when you have to stop twice, because that's the rule, there is no extending it out. 25 laps is the limit that those tires will go. If it's a free pit stop, free, I don't seem to understand how they couldn't figure out of the pit wall. Are they that dumb, or are they just trying to sabotage it? Because Zach Brown's in this mentality that as long as both my drivers are happy, I'll lose the title to Max. You're a fucking idiot, dude. You are an idiot.
Yeah, it just seems like they couldn't decide between, Oscar's winning the race. Well, Lando's winning the championship, and they got so caught up, and they didn't want to double stack or whatever. whatever the case may be, they fumbled over their own feet, basically. They tripped themselves up. I don't understand, not just, I get not pitting both, maybe.
Yeah.
Right?
I think they should
I could understand.
I think they absolutely should have split it. Oscar was leading on the track. He had a perfect weekend. They should have pitted Oscar. He should have had the priority.
Yep, absolutely. I completely agree with you. But I guess, this is 100% my own personal belief on what McLaren's doing here. I think that they want so badly to support Lando without supporting Lando that the conversation was, should we bring in Lando here? And
I could see that.
They just did. Yeah, I think just after some of the stuff that's come out over the last couple of days about the little side looks and stuff between Mark Webber and Oscar, and the way that, did you see that Zach sprinted out of the hospitality suite, had to go down there in front of the media pen and congratulate Oscar awkwardly, it was very forced. Mark Webber was looking at him like, dude, you're an idiot.
It's like being forced to hug your aunts and uncles that you don't really know at the holidays. Yeah. It's like it feels tense. It feels disingenuous. Everybody can see it.
Did you see Zach's coming down off the pit wall to congratulate the drivers as soon as they parked in Parc Ferme? So he damn near walks by Oscar and has to kind of do this awkward oh, actually I'm going to shake your hand first, as he was on the way to Lando. And it looked like he was going straight for Lando and was like, oh shit, I gotta say hi to Oscar first.
Surprised
it was
you didn't just go straight to Max and congratulate him. Be like, hey, my boy, I'm giving you this,
Hand him the title.
Yeah, you're welcome, bub. And we'll go into this in a little bit as far as the points breakdown. But I mean, Max is an absolute in a great position for this. He is in absolutely a position that he could very well win the championship, which is a crazy thing to talk about. The fact that, yes, has Max put in just an absolute world-class effort, one that we'll talk about for years to come, to bring this points battle back? Yes. But have McLaren absolutely screwed both of their drivers out of the chance for this? Yes.
Oh, yeah. They should have.
We got to talk about that just as much as we talk about how great Max is on this one.
They should have had this championship, both of them, wrapped up months ago. The fact that they've extended it this long and they've shot themselves in the foot. Now, granted, Oscar kind of didn't put in the certain laps that he should have in certain races. So we'll kind of say that. But for the most part, as a team, they should have won both titles months ago.
Agreed. I would argue that if they would have thrown papaya rules out the window, and if they would have prioritized the driver earlier in the season, it should have been Oscar. Based on how Oscar performed the first half of the season, they should have prioritized Oscar, and he's the number one driver this year. I think Oscar would have been winning the championship. But if they would have said, hey, hindsight's 2020, we didn't do that, we screwed up, and let's say that getting to Coda, I mean, we had all those races after Monza where Oscar just really shit the bed. And if they would have said, you know what, we learned our lesson, we should have prioritized Oscar earlier in the season, it didn't happen, and it screwed us, and now look at where we are. We have to learn from our history. We have to support Lando. Then I think it would have been Lando winning. But it's like McLaren just literally cannot learn from their mistakes here. And it's like, you've even got, Oscar going into this race, who has the momentum. He had an incredible race weekend. He should have won this last weekend. His car looked better. And the conditions aren't vastly different between Qatar and Abu Dhabi. So it's like, going into Abu Dhabi, it looks like Oscar's going to be the stronger car. So I'm like, for the love of God, have some real honest conversations. It cannot come down to this final race and it just be papaya rules and you absolutely just hand everything to Max at a track that Max loves and does very, very well at. I don't know, I think, to your point, Josh, what Max has done has been incredible. Absolutely incredible. He was flawless this weekend. No doubt. He deserves all the praise. But this we will look back on for many years to come and study how McLaren just absolutely fumbled the bag here.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, Josh. Oscar was the fastest car this weekend. He should have ran away with this. It was just stupidity that they gave this victory to Max. And kudos to him. He drove a hell of a race, and strategy-wise, they did everything they needed to do correctly. But just a missed opportunity for Oscar in that team because he was a better car. And getting back to start this conversation, I'm sorry, Josh, I'll get to your point here in a second.
You're good. I'm going to reiterate exactly what you're saying.
Everyone knew, even this small podcast is just starting to grow. Everybody knew that this track is awful to pass in. Everybody knew that it's a DRS train. We're stuck for 57 laps in the exact same order that we started. Why not pit? What flexibility, what do you think is going to happen if you don't pit right away on lap 7? We saw what happened when Lando couldn't even pass Kimi at those last few laps. It took Kimi making a mistake for Lando to get past him. What are they thinking? I just truly cannot seem to wrap my head around what's going on.
Yeah, and to your point, Oscar seemed to be by far the quickest this weekend. I mean, his pace in the sprint showed us that in clean air that car is extremely fast, right?
Yeah.
My
and
question
he
is,
wasn't clean air. He was like 2 seconds ahead within the first 4 laps.
yes, like you could tell, but he was just gone. Which I know we've had conversations throughout this weekend that Oscar really, really likes Lucille and likes this track. But which whatever. I mean, the track kind of sucks, but I mean, it must be fun to drive with all the fast flowing corners. So I get what they're coming from, but it's not a good racing circuit, at least for Formula One cars.
It's pretty though.
It is pretty.
It
It's
is.
cool.
It
It's
is a
cool
really
track.
pretty track. It is a really pretty track. I looked
My-
at my brother at one point and I said, "It's a really pretty track. It's gonna suck, but at least it's pretty."
Yeah. My question is we've seen such a increase in pace from Oscar, right? And coming into the summer break, after the summer break, he looked just so poor, right? He was so slow. He just had no pace. He looked like he had no control of the car. Why? What changed? That's my question. What changed? Why have now Oscar found all this performance out of this car? Incidentally, immediately after McLaren was kind of found out to potentially be, bending the rules as far as plank wear.
So what you're saying is
interesting.
I should go get my tinfoil hat right now and
I'm like,
This would be the time for it.
it.
Should we start-
Yeah.
should we start the conspiracy theories right now?
I don't think there are even conspiracy theories. I think that a Formula One driver is not going to randomly find, several seconds of performance in a car that he's been driving all season and was leading the championship for half the season in.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something's up.
Something smells fishy here, and I'm sure we're not going to find out for a while. I'm sure in 20 years when Oscar writes his memoirs, he'll talk about it. So we'll have to wait till then.
Yeah.
Did y'all
But-
see
Or as soon
the
as he
memes
leaves
yesterday
McLaren.
that just said it was like I gotta read it was like screw it, Oscar, just crash into Lando, hand the championship to Red Bull, light McLaren on fire, and walk out and go find your inner peace. It said something like that, and I was like,
But I think
honestly, like Oscar probably is just like middle
I-
fingers in the air right
Yeah.
now.
I think it raises a good point. It's going into this weekend. Does Oscar help Lando win the title if it comes up to that? And what do we do?
I think Oscar does Oscar. I think Oscar pulls what Valtteri did his last year in that seat in Mercedes when they said, hey, you need to do this. You need to go help Lewis. And Valtteri just said no. And Valtteri went and did Valtteri. I think Oscar does that. I think Oscar makes a statement to the team that I will not play second fiddle to anybody. You should have prioritized me earlier in the season. You didn't make the right call. You not only cost me the championship potentially, now you're going to cost Lando the championship. So if I'm Oscar in Oscar's seat and I have Mark Webber in my ear, I don't play the team player right now. I play Oscar as number one. That's my opinion. I don't like it, but that's my thought.
I see a world that Max is winning and Norris needs that one. What is it? He's got to get third. I believe
So
Max wins.
let me pull it
He
up
has to
here.
get podium.
Let me
Yes,
pull
yeah,
it up
podium.
here. So
And
Lando
I
went.
can see a world where they have to swap the drive. I'll just finish this quick, Paul. I can see a world where McLaren asks to swap the drivers to give Lando the championship. I see that world because let's just say if Oscar's in third, Lando needs that podium to win. Well, Oscar's not going to win it, the world championship from that position. But Lando could. I could see them trying to swap positions, which flies in the face of papaya rules. And I don't know. I see that world, and I could very easily see it happening this weekend. And I think that would be just a disgusting fly in the face of Oscar. And I would be shocked to see him in that car again next year, to be honest.
So this is what each one of the drivers needs. Lando wins the title if he finishes first. If he finishes first, it doesn't matter what happens. But if he finishes up until fourth, as long as Lando finishes on the podium, it's his. If it's fourth, the other ones have to do worse. Max wins if he wins the race and Lando gets fourth or worse. Oscar wins if he gets first and everyone else just does awful, like sixth or worse. So Lando has an easier shot to win this. But
I don't think it's easy by any means.
It's not.
quote easy if they get their head out of their asses and they can do something. But I
Not
think
likely.
McLaren is going to McLaren and Zach Brown is gonna still wants everyone to hold hands and sing Kumbaya as long as we're still friends. But I don't see how this is not just irreparable damage going into 26.
Agreed. Hey,
It's
I
gotta
gotta
be.
hop. Closing thoughts. Max, impressive. McLaren, shit the bed. Kimi doesn't deserve the hate. Helmut Marko can F off for making
before
this comment.
you go, one quick question.
Yes.
So if McLaren completely shits the bed this weekend and Max wins, do you give up your fanhood for McLaren?
No. I mean, that would be like me being like, I'm not a Ferrari fan because they had a terrible
Fair.
season. I mean,
Fair enough.
like, I have always had a healthy amount of skepticism with any team that I support. I mean, like, I
And on that note, have a great time at work today.
Yep. See ya.
I don't know, dude. It's just I don't seem to understand what they're trying to do. I mean, I get it, the concept of we have 2 number 1 drivers. It's been the talk all season long, but at a certain point, something's got to give. And
Well, and I get it. Like, I get what they're trying to do with this, and I think it's probably more. I'm gonna let this dog out.
don't worry about it. You're good. It's just it's tough. It's a tough situation all around. Trying to get everybody happy. You're not, and I think I said it last episode where it was, it's a team sport, but it's a very individualized sport, and you're always going to have 2 drivers that want to win, and they're going to do everything possible to win. There's only one title. Zach Brown cannot split that thing in half and give each person half. And while they're fumbling the bag, you're seeing Max, who is Max and one of the greatest of all time, winning.
Yep. And I think, as I pour my coffee, because it's
That's all right.
early. All right. So here's my opinion on the situation, and obviously I think we'll learn more throughout the offseason. I think that purely McLaren's stance is due to the contractual obligations of Oscar Piastri. I do not think that this is just like on their own goodwill, McLaren's just saying, oh, we have 2 main drivers, we have 2 number 1s. They're not doing that out of the kindness of their heart. That team is centered around Lando. Oscar just happens to have a clause in that contract, and I think Mark Webber had a big part in that, in saying that there's no number 1 drivers, he will not be, team ordered against whatever. But it's become glaringly obvious throughout the second half of the season that they really prefer Lando. The way Zach Brown talks, the way Zach Brown acts, it's just the little moments that are caught candidly, not necessarily in the media pen or in a straight up interview, but it's just like the mannerisms, the body language, the way he interacts with either driver. It's glaringly obvious that he prefers Lando. Lando is his boy.
I mean, in all sense of the word, Lando's been there for years. Lando suffered. Lando was with the team when they were fighting for 17th and 18th. So
yeah,
I get
I don't
that.
even mind it. Like,
No,
but when you I don't even care if they're having a number 1 driver. Like, who gives a shit? Like, it is what it is. Like, most of these teams have a clear number 1 driver, right? Like, obviously Lance Stroll is by far the number 1 driver over, the world champion Fernando Alonso. You laugh, but in that team's eyes, like, he is the number 1 driver, and it's due to money. But at least it's clearly stated, right?
Yeah.
They're not doing this whole, we have 2 number 1 drivers, we've got daddy's money, and we've got world champion Fernando Alonso. What I don't understand is we've kept up this papaya rules rhetoric for the entire year, and it's clearly crumbling. But I can't believe that they're allowing it to get to the point where they're willing to lose just to save face. What is that? They've already lost. They've already lost to me. Their image and their reputation is completely damaged. So what are they doing?
And to publicly say that, like, it's one thing if you think about it behind closed doors, if you talk about it amongst your tight-knit group, but to publicly on a microphone say, I'd rather lose a championship to Max than have to pick a number 1 driver or risk pissing off one of my drivers. I like McLaren. I have a McLaren hat and I have McLaren stuff, but I would have a hard time continuing my fanhood if that's the mentality that we're going into 26.
Yeah, that's not a championship mentality to me.
It's not. It's a losing mentality, and in a sport where winning matters. I mean, hell, all sports winning matters. You can't say one that doesn't. But when there's so many millions of dollars on the line in sponsorship deals, winning is so important. Going and saying something as dumb as that, I would have a hard time continuing a fanhood for a team that is happy with losing. And I don't seem to understand it. And
it's not even happy with losing, right? Like, this is like, it's one thing for in another sport, right? Like, let's just say like Premier League, right? The teams at the bottom of the table, they know where they're at, right? They're not pretending to be anything but, the bottom tier teams. They understand they're there. They're lucky to be there, right? It's not this. I feel like this is such a drastic difference between other sports where you've got a team that won the Constructors' Championship, right? They've won the championship of their league, but now that they're gonna give away the entire other half of this championship for no reason.
Yeah. You could make the argument that they cared more about the Constructors' title than they do the Drivers' title, mainly because the Constructors' title means more money for them. So, I don't know. It's tough. But kind of switching gears away from that, can we just briefly talk about how undeserving the hate was to Kimi?
Yeah, really shocked on that one.
Very shocked.
And this was me not having looked very much into it. So run me back through what caused all of this hate for Kimi.
So it was maybe a handful of laps left. Lando had pit, so he was behind Carlos and Kimi. I think maybe a lap to go or 2 laps to go on one of the fast turns. Kimi got a little squirrely.
Yeah, I saw that.
Ended up, his exit wasn't where he needed to, so Lando ended up taking advantage of that, and he passed him. Well, on the radio, Max's engineer said Kimi pulled over to allow Lando to pass him because it was those 2 points really made the difference in the standings, and then that turned and opened up a world of shitstorm. Everybody was talking crap about Kimi. Even Helmut Marko came out publicly and said that Kimi did this to sabotage Max, and to the point where Kimi was getting death threats on social media after the race and going into Monday just because of that one comment that was said to Max. And I will say Toto had a talk with Max's engineer, and he apologized. They had to go back and look. If you just saw the image of Lando passing Kimi, you would assume that Kimi pulled over and let him go. But looking back at the video and going back at things, you saw that Kimi got squirrely and kind of lost it, and that gave Lando the advantage. So Red Bull has come out and apologized. The engineer for Max apologized to Toto, but it's just completely unacceptable. That poor rookie, poor Kimi did not deserve that kind of abuse going into that. Everybody's trying to win. Kimi's still trying to do his job. Why on earth would he pull over? Now we're talking about some sort of conspiracy theory on helping Lando. It's dumb.
No, and I was confused by that because I had seen that move, I guess the lack of move, where Kimi had gotten squirrely in turn 9, which compromised his entrance to 10, and 10 already is a really tight corner that you really have to. That's where we saw everybody getting their track limits violations because they really want to maximize that outside line when the corner entry, and he was unable to do that. He was on those older tires. He got onto the sandy, dusty, whatever outside line of that corner, and yeah, it was pretty obvious that he just lost traction and slipped. I mean, I didn't think anything of it. I know that I heard the comment made that was like, oh, it looked like he just pulled over and let him pass, but it looked like it was just one of those joking comments. Like, it didn't seem like it had any validity to it. What fan base was like going after Kimi so hard? Like the Max fan base, the Max fan base, Lando?
Yeah. Okay. The Max fan base. So it was just, I don't know.
Shocker, all the Max lovers out there that, like, I get it. Like, that's one of the greatest drivers that we will ever see in a Formula One car. But his fan base sometimes is just really toxic for no reason.
Man, people, coming from a world we were just talking about Premier League, people take their fanhood to another level.
No, and I get that, but it seems like we've had
it's just uncalled for.
We've had conversations with other Max fans in our comments and DMs and stuff, and it's like it comes from a place of ignorance a lot of the times. Like, it's like, why are we talking about this? Max is like one of the best drivers in the world. There's not this secret hidden agenda against Max Verstappen. Like that is a crazy perspective to have. This guy is a 4-time world champion, could potentially be 5, and he does things that are incredibly like that. He does every season. He seems to do things that would be once in a generation, but he does them every year.
And I think.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I think we forget that these people are humans. I mean, at the end of the day, however, Max is very cutthroat and he doesn't give a crap who he pisses off on track. But once a helmet comes off, these people are humans, and to be sending people death threats and spamming their inbox with crap, it's like, dude.
What a 19-year-old kid.
First of all, this kid is fucking 18 years old. He can't even legally have a beer in this country. and we're gonna talk shit about him. Like, dude, come on. Like, there is no place for that in sports. There's no place for that in there's no place for that anywhere in life these days, but especially in sports. It's like you can't take your fan good and take it somewhere else, because that's crap. But I just wanted to clear that there's not right what was done to Kimi.
No, that's ridiculous. I can't even believe that. I mean, I can't believe we have to sit here and have that conversation, right?
Absolutely.
You know, I feel like this specific incident was just so benign. It didn't seem like this was like, of all I could see, you know. There's plenty of circumstances in the past where you could say, you know, like, let's just, like McLaren's, we're talking about the team order stuff, right? We've had a couple instances where the drivers have been asked to, like, let the other driver through. Like, you could point to those and be more upset than you can point to a guy losing traction, defending his heart out, defending for these points that he wants, defending for this, you know, he's rivaling George. He was 20 seconds ahead of his teammate. He was absolutely pushing for this, like, hey, like, I belong to be here, like, you know, he's a rookie. He's still trying to earn his place, and giving up those points makes no sense for him. So I don't
absolutely.
I don't get it. I don't get why this incident was what caused all that.
Yeah, but switching gears, let's briefly also talk about Carlos and the term driving the wheels off that thing. Holy crap! That car was literally breaking down the last couple of laps. I don't know if you got a chance to hear some of the radio, but towards the end, he was having power steering issues, and he was having all kinds of issues with that car.
So Kudos. It looked like he had, wild. It seemed like he was losing bits off the car. Like, pieces were falling off of it.
Literally driving the wheels off that thing, dude.
I don't know what happened. Why was his stuff falling apart? Because I didn't see any contact or anything. I guess I will say a lot of drivers were complaining about damage with those serrated curbs and the gravel traps that were right there, and losing, you know, having floor damage, stuff like that. So I mean, maybe he just got wide at some point and I just missed it.
That, and I'm sure pushing the car to the absolute limit towards the very end because he didn't want to give up his podium spot. I mean, I think Williams and James Vowles have hit a freaking home run signing Carlos Sainz, because you know the talk was, you know, Lewis is taking Carlos's spot, and what's Carlos going to do? Williams hit a home run with that dude. You know, 2 podiums for a Williams car that is all but a piece of crap car. And even James Vowles said it. I don't care about 25. I don't care what we do. This is just learning. We care about 27 and beyond. We didn't think the car was capable of doing this. We hoped and we envisioned, because during testing first part of this year, that car was doing so well. But, man, 2 podiums this year for Carlos and that Williams. Kudos to him, man.
Yeah, the first time that Williams has had 2 podiums in a season in over a decade, since I believe it was Felipe Massa did it. In a season that was completely written off by obviously they're going to downplay their performance every year, right? They're not going to come out and say, "Oh, yeah, we're Williams and we're going to be contending for podiums." You know, they're never going to say that. But for Williams to now have preserved their 5th place and locked it down in the constructors, that's a massive win for them. Going from what did they get last year? Not that. I got it pulled up. Second to last, they got 17 points total last season. 17 points.
137 right now.
Total 137 right now. So what an absolutely nuts turnaround. James Vowles has done an absolute masterclass on turning that team around, and that you're correct. That signing Carlos is an absolute home run. Now that he's kind of gotten comfortable in that car and he's found the performance, you can tell that over the last few races he's been, he's really enjoyed driving it, and having the podiums is just icing on the cake, right?
Absolutely.
Well, it doesn't really mean anything other than, having a podium is great, but the points gets and getting them all this extra money in the constructors battle is going to be phenomenal.
And here's the thing: if Carlos can put another phenomenal season in 26. There is no doubt in my mind the 3 top teams are going to be fighting to get Carlos in 27. And James is going to have to open up that wallet a little more for Carlos if he wants to keep him. Because I can definitely see Carlos either in a Red Bull in a Mercedes or back in Ferrari red, because the way he's driving,
Or he sees the vision in the future, and Williams could potentially become a top contender again. It really just depends on 26. And as much wind tunnel time as they would have had between 24 and 25 because of how bad they did last year. If James is right, and they've been putting a lot of their effort into the 2026 car, that thing could potentially have a lot more development time than most others on the grid.
Yeah.
And that I mean, that would just, that could very well put Williams above some of what we would consider right now the top teams. That could put Williams above several of these top teams if they do not get that car right.
Yeah. It's just definitely nice to see a Williams in a good conversation, other than it's just towards the back end of the grid at all times.
Yeah, I mean, it's a legacy team. It's a team that's been on the grid, since Frank Williams brought them.
Yeah.
Well, 60s or 70s. So,
yeah.
It's great. It's great to see one of the legacy heritage teams doing well. Obviously Ferrari sucks, so we can't talk about them.
Speaking
Williams
of legacy team, that team is awful.
Terrible.
What is happening?
So you want to put the tinfoil hat back on? I saw a conspiracy yesterday.
Oh.
So the conspiracy theory, because I can't even call this a rumor. The conspiracy theory is that Ferrari is purposefully blowing it so they get the extra performance time to build the 2026 car.
I mean, maybe, but it's just...
They apparently after... So I did see this. This is actually a rumor that I've heard several places now. So after their double DNF in China, apparently they stopped all work on the 2025 car, or most of the work on the 2025 car, which is why we've seen so few upgrades and so few changes to that car.
They gave up after China?
Yeah, they realized how screwed that car is, and how that concept, that whatever they tried to change between 24 and 25 with the new concept did not work at all. And they stopped development so they could focus on 26. And that's why Ferrari has been absolutely so bad.
Well,
Which I believe that one. That one actually makes sense, because we had talked earlier in the year about when are teams going to just cut their losses and move on. I guess Ferrari pulled the plug real quick.
Well, then I expect Ferrari to have a freaking rocket ship next come January and February, because if that's true, I don't know, dude. It's just awful. And the engineering side of things over there, the communication is awful. I mean, going on Charles Leclerc's radio and says, "Oh, you're fastest in turn 2." Dude, we're still slow overall. How about you help me find some pace and get this going? I don't care about what one turn I'm being quick in. It's just
I get it. Like they're trying to keep his spirits up, but like he doesn't care.
Yeah, there's certain staples within sports that you just are hoping are going to do good. The Yankees in baseball, Manchester United in the Premier League. There's certain, like Real Madrid in Spain for soccer. There are certain teams and organizations that you hold to a higher echelon and a higher standard, and you're like, they're always going to be there. They're always going to win. And for them to fumble the bag this bad, and you have two drivers that just, I don't know, dude. They put a microphone to their face, and it's literally this.
Yeah. You excited about next year? No.
I mean, to say...
What do you think about...
Yes. Finish the sentence. I know where that one's going.
It's like, what did what do you think about your first year in Ferrari Red? I don't. Like, that's just, oh my God. It's so funny.
The other one, it's like, what did they ask Lewis? Something about how are things going? And he goes, the weather's beautiful.
Yeah, they said, what are you looking forward to tomorrow or something? And he's like, weather will be nice.
Yeah. It's like a 7-time world champion. You've literally destroyed him to the point where he just the weather. I don't know.
So what's funny though is like I get being upset with the car, but if you look at the reactions between Lewis at last year in Mercedes, right, in which he was also upset with the car. He was not performing really well in qualifying. A lot of the same things that are happening now. It's a different Lewis. It's a worse. I don't know if it's worse. Because he was... The only reason I say that is because at Mercedes, he was so self-deprecating. It's all my fault. I can't drive the car. I'm doing poorly. I don't know what's going on with myself. That's what he was saying in Mercedes. Ferrari, it's much less self-deprecation. Which is a vastly different mentality that I feel like he's got now versus then. So I'm curious at why he doesn't feel like it's his. I mean, obviously he doesn't feel like it's his fault this year as much as what he clearly felt at Mercedes towards the end of the year, where he just straight up, it just looked like he did not want to be there anymore and was like actually talking about not finishing the season out. So I'm curious to hear like what do you think? I mean, why would he at this point now not be doing all that self-deprecation? Because he just had his worst qualifying ever in this history of his Formula One career, and qualifying straight up last week. But he's not, going to the end and talking about how terrible he is and how the car sucks or how he cannot drive the car and that self-deprecation. Why? Because he did that so frequently at Mercedes.
My guess would be the machine isn't behind him. I think, granted, also he spent so many years with Mercedes, so he built relationships, and it became a thing where they knew what each other needed without having to say it. So maybe that's why he was more self-deprecating last year. And this year, I mean, we just hear the radios. Look at the difference in radio communication between Bono those few years with Lewis to now. It's like there's no radio communication. There's no talking. I personally think he doesn't feel support from Ferrari. And you see it when the CEO comes out and says dumb shit like they should stop talking so much and just drive. It's like, no, dude, there's more to it than that. I personally think that he just has no support. I mean, when you spend a summer break printing out documents and taking it to headquarters, this is how we can improve. This is what we can do. There's no reason he should be doing that. I don't need to talk shit about drivers, but his job is just to get in the seat, put a steering wheel in his hand, and drive.
Right, it's Lewis Hamilton, the driver. It's not Lewis Hamilton, the race engineer, the performance engineer. This is not.
These engineers are making millions of dollars to come up with the X's and O's, and you should be able to trust them. These should be the best engineers in the entire world. And yet we have a driver printing out documents and doing his own research to make the team better. What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't get that. And yeah, as you can say what you want about Ferrari, like, even if let's just say hypothetically that they did stop all upgrades on this car, that they did not want to devote any of their time and money into the 25 car. Let's just say that they did. That does not fundamentally change the issues that I see week in and week out with communication. Lewis has had several qualifyings now where he has missed out on possible, Q2s, 3s, whatever the case may be, due solely to miscommunications with his race engineer. Like that right there is one time has to be scrutinized and looked extremely hard at and say, okay, where did we make this mistake? What can we do to fix it in the future? Back-to-back race weekends where communication is solely the reason why Lewis has a poor qualifying effort, or at least, lost an attempt at a lap, is unacceptable.
And not just him.
It's unacceptable. It's not. No, it's not just him. It's
they're
it's
golden
a whole
boy.
Issue.
They're golden boy. Charles
they're
Leclerc.
doing the same thing to Charles.
Last weekend, not Qatar, but the one before that, Vegas, when the car just shuts off, you literally see him fumbling with the steering wheel. Nothing. Crickets. Oh, by the way, have you tried restarting it? No communication on what went wrong. No communication on, hey, this, that, nothing. Poor guy's in there by himself figuring shit out, and then finally somebody decides to go, have you just hit start? It's like, talk to these drivers, man. Communicate with them. That's the job. I don't know. It's just tough,
I
man.
think, I don't know.
It's just been a depressing podcast today, man. Is there any form of positivity we can bring out of all of this?
I mean, it was a rough weekend. I mean, let's see who did well that we weren't.
Carlos.
I mean, Carlos and Williams is a really, really bright spot.
Yeah. Even Isaac. Isaac was having a great race till the very end when he had that puncture and ruined his day. Yeah,
that was really unfortunate because he was performing so well.
But I think overall we knew this race was going to be a snooze fest. The most exciting thing was after the race and some of the decisions made.
Yeah, but the most exciting thing happened at lap 7.
Yeah.
After that, not much to say. Ollie Behrman, kind of one to forget for Ollie there. That pit stop issue was not his fault at all.
No.
Left the rear jack up, and he was unable. I don't get how they get him for an unsafe release. They give him a penalty. I get it, but I didn't really feel like. I don't know. Rules are a brick wall. It's hard to argue them, but
yeah, unfortunately.
But it sucks for Ollie, and obviously it ruined his race to the point where he was beating the steering wheel. You see that?
Yeah, I mean it's talk about very emotional, but also there's so much going on there. Oh, I was just looking at the predictions that we did, and man,
we don't even need to talk about those.
I need to talk about them because they did well. Let's get into that.
All
right. So predictions. Whew, man. All right. So Josh, you had Max winning, Lando second, and Charles third?
Let's pull it up.
Sorry, I was trying to read Meredith's writing.
Well, she's got it all marked up. Let's see. Yes, Max, Lando's Charles. And I had Williams, no points. So that did not work out very well.
That did not work out for you.
I only did that for you. So
I know. You hate me. Meredith had Max, Lando, Charles, so same as you. And she had Mercedes double points. I had Max, Oscar, Kimi, Williams double point, and Hulk double point. So I ended up with 2 points, each of you with 1. So that moves our new standings to... no, Meredith gets 2 points. Yeah.
Meredith
so you get 1, Meredith and I both get 2 points. So that moves Josh to 19, me to 17, and Meredith with 20. All right, Josh, what do you think? Before we do that, Abu Dhabi is the next one?
Abu Dhabi, the last one.
Give us your race insight on that.
I actually really like this little track. It's got several good braking zones, which is about the only place that we can see passing anymore. Let's think. 1, 2 DRS straights, if I remember correctly. But the best braking zone is the one we saw that in 2021, where Max was able to overtake Lewis at the end of the very long straight in the first sector. That's a very hard braking zone with that hard left-hander. What was that left-right chicane? That is by far, I think, the best braking zone. It's a very long run down there. And DRS is so strong there because of how long the straight is. So it's got the potential for some DRS train action through the middle of the order. But overall, I think at the front, we could see some good fighting if the pit strategies align. And I don't really have a whole lot of faith in McLaren's strategy wall right now. So
no.
I do hope that they can figure something out because I want to see a good race, but this is a track that Max favors very highly, and he does perform very well around here. So I could see Max just being real quick. But the McLarens had pace in Qatar, right? We saw Oscar had a lot of pace. He was very, very quick through the sprint qualifying, regular qualifying. He easily could have won that race. So, and the conditions are going to be very similar. So we also could see the McLarens being very strong around here as well. So I hate to say, I don't want it to come down to a strategy call because I want it to come down to just pure skill for the drivers.
Okay.
But I think this is it's going to be, team-wise, it's going to be Mercedes and McLaren are going to be very quick. And then Max is just there, as usual.
All right. So do you want to give your predictions, or do you want me to tell you what Meredith had first, so give you some time to think?
Just give Meredith first.
All right. So Meredith thinks it's going to be Max first, Oscar second, and Lando third. Williams and Haas will be in the points. I am going with Oscar winning, Max and Lando second and third. For a shocker, I have no idea. We're going to have to come back to me on the shocker.
Okay.
All right, what do you think?
If you say Williams, double points again.
No, I'm trying to do something different.
I'm going to take Oscar winning, Max in second, and Lando in third. And
Oscar, Max, Lando?
Yes.
All right.
Let's see. I want to think of a good shocker, too. It's the last race. We got to have a good one.
All right, my shocker is... This is not much of a shocker, but I have Lewis does not make it to Q3 and Haas and Aston Martin in the points. Boom.
There you go. And Aston Martin. Fernando looked pretty quick this weekend, too. Even with his little spin.
All right, what do you got?
Let's see. I'll take a Williams top 5.
Oh, top 5.
I think Williams top 5. I think Carlos looked pretty good. That car looks pretty good. We'll go Williams. A Williams top 5. I'm sure it'll be Carlos, but I'm not going to commit to that. And let's see. I want to add something else to that.
So you said Williams top 5.
Williams top 5. Gabby points.
All right. So next question: who wins the world title?
I think Lando wins the world title.
You think Lando does it?
Yeah, he's got the best position to win. Right. All he's got to do is get a podium, which I know sounds like the easiest thing to do, but. As long as he has a clean race and a clean start, all he's got to do is just keep it clean. And I think McLaren's going to be so protective with the strategy and everything that they're not going to make another mistake like Qatar, right? I hope not, but you never know. That's why we go racing. That's why we got to see it happen live. You think Max is going to win it?
I think Max wins it. I think because for all the reasons you said, McLaren is going to fumble it. They're going to try to be too cautious. They're going to try to tiptoe their way through this because all we got to do is just get a podium and we win. And they're going to tiptoe too much and they're going to cost them the victory.
That's very possible.
Because Red Bull's going to balls to the wall. They're going to throw everything at it, and every aggressive strategy, every aggressive driving, they're going to, in all sense of the word, they're going to drive the wheels off that thing.
Yeah, they've got nothing to lose. Why wouldn't they?
They've been there, done that. They know what it takes to win, and McLaren doesn't know what it takes to win, and they're going to shoot themselves in the foot. Also, I think there's going to be. I think I heard a rumor that Latifi's going to be the special driver, and Michael Massey's going to be the
retirement.
Yeah. Michael Massey's going to come be the racing guy. So things are going to get really spicy. I kept seeing those memes coming into the all this morning and last night. Nicolas Latifi's coming back.
That would be hilarious. I mean, obviously it's not going to happen, but we've got to have a repeat of 2021. I mean, it could. Yeah, this could be another one of those like crazy.
Could you imagine if it ends on
races.
A safety car or some dumb thing again like 21 did? Ooh, baby.
I don't know, man. Like anything could happen. It could be something so simple that throws this whole thing off, right? Like all it takes is Lando to bottle his start and get put down in the midfield and get stuck, and just it's all it would take right there. That'd be it.
I mean, we just talked about strategy, and we talked about the pit strategy and the McLaren wall. But the other big thing is Lando mentally strong enough to put up with this? Because going into this weekend, Max is going to play those mind games. Max is going to position that car in tricky little spots. He's going to find the one hole and try to exploit it. Is Lando mentally strong enough to withstand what's about to happen?
The amount of pressure on him, between not only one other driver but his teammate and Max Verstappen, it's going to be a lot of pressure on him, and we'll see if his mental fortitude can handle this one.
Yeah, but on that note, I love that we don't have to wait 2 weeks for this. We just merely a few days away. Listen, you and I work on Sunday, so it's going to have a hard time concentrating because I'm going to be staring at my phone the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be one I wish I was. I mean, I'm on vacation, so I am going to be off, but I'm going to go in for the vacation picks.
Okay. Oh, so at least you'll be able to look at what's going on.
Yeah, I won't have to be doing anything. I'm just going to be hanging out.
Fair enough. All right. On that note.
Yep. I don't know what else to say. I think this weekend's going to be nuts. I hope
it's going to be a fun weekend.
I hope it's not just absolutely crazy drama that we've got to talk about for like the next 6 months.
Oh, we're going to. We're going to, because when Max wins it, the conversations going into next year are, is there trouble in paradise? What question, there's...
there's already trouble in paradise. That's something we're going to have to talk about. I think that we'll see some drivers moving in 27 that would have surprised me at the beginning of this year. So
there's going to be a lot of unhappy drivers coming the checkered flag this upcoming Sunday.
Yep, I think, and somebody's going to have their feelings real hurt.
Somebody already has their feelings real hurt.
This is true.
So let's wrap it up for the day, bud.
All right. Well, it was good to see y'all talking everything about. We got Formula One. That's all we got. We got this one race this weekend, and then we do have the Formula E.
Formula E starts this weekend in Brazil, December 6th.
Yep, it's on Saturday, but in the morning for us.
11 a.m. I think I said.
11 o'clock Central Time. So we do have at least another category starting back up that we can talk about because it's getting to like the dry season of motorsports. So it is kind of nice. Formula E is at least a wintertime category.
Absolutely. Oh. There's always that, but it all comes down to one race. This is what we've been wanting all year. For the last couple of years, we've been wanting to. Last race of the year, it's all come down to this, and hopefully it gives us a lot of fireworks.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's a lot better than having just one driver running away with the whole thing, and there's no questions coming into it. Like even last year, yes, Lando had a chance, but not really. It was a very outside chance. Now we've got a true three-way battle going into the last race of the year. That's pretty fun. This will be fun. It's going to be a lot.
I can't wait to hit record next week because there's going to be a lot to talk about.
We're going to have a ton to talk about. It might be a longer episode next week.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we're going to cut it with that. I hope you guys have a good rest of the week. We will see you next week when we come back to discuss whatever fireworks we may see this weekend on Sundays. I hope you guys enjoy your week and weekend, and we will catch up with you guys next week.
Take care, everybody.
See you. All right, buddy. We'll take it easy.